have a really nice swing.
Thank you. I like this. This is a good video.
For now.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead and turn it off.
It's not about having your swing look perfect. It's about where's this ball going? Where does it need to go somewhere different? You're not moving the grip end of the club towards the target fast enough, long enough, where the club head, which is going much faster than the grip end, is now going so fast you can barely hang on to the club.
It's been a long time since I've been in a Golftec bay. You've gotten rid of the sensors and instead now you're tracking the whole body.
Well, we measure different things. So the sensors that you used to wear, one sat on your sacrum, the other one sat at the base of your neck right here on C7 of your vertebrae. It measured the sensor from those locations.
I'd never been on Golftec's OptiMotion system. This thing is crazy. Just with a camera, you're capturing all of this data. It's measuring things like shoulder tilt, shoulder sway, hip, knee, all the stuff, right? It's truly amazing, and they do so many lessons, all using the software. They're able to get really accurate, precise, clean data, which we're gonna look at today.
Now we've done 7 million lessons with very digitized points. We know that we're measuring the center point of people all over their body now. Those two views are combined with the 2D key points you get from each view, and we create a 3D key point, which starts to bring the data together. So let me at least show you what we can measure, and then we'll see what is different or not. So first, I've got a slew of numbers right here in the middle of the screen. The color coding that you see here as well on the numbers, that's relative to a couple hundred tour players based on how close you are to the tour averages of all those players.
Is there anything interesting here with my setup or backswing?
Well, first, you're really good at golf, so there are things I would probably tell you to practice. Like, you don't need to have your lead arm quite as high as that. You aim the shaft to the left, even in the old hair swing. If you wanted to do that different, one thing that would help you would be to follow the tour averages of the hip turn and how much faster the tour players have their hips turned at 2, 3, and 4. That would help you aim the shaft a little bit better. I haven't noticed like a shot pattern with you.
I honestly just hit it straight, which is bad. You know, like you're supposed to have one shot, and I agree with that, but I just kind of hit it straight, and then sometimes it goes, some days it goes a little left, and some days it goes a little right, and...
I don't see a problem with you trying to hit every shot straight. It's not how I would play, but if you're really good at it, then that's fine. Then the mishits that you have are left or to the right. You might have to guess a little bit more on which way they're gonna go. I think in general, especially if you're bad at golf, having one shot that you know is either gonna end up in the fairway, or it might overdraw, or it might push and it's gonna draw a little bit, but not enough, that there's a lot of comfort in knowing it's always going one way. It's not about having your swing look perfect, it's about where's this ball going, where does it need to go somewhere different. So those smaller things that you could pick on aren't important. The ones that are bigger are. So one that is interesting to me is the trail knee flex number that I've got pulled up here. 34 degrees, and we're at about P5.5, almost at 6, where the shaft's parallel to the ground. At this point in time, there are a lot of players that straighten their knee. Their knee stops losing or stops gaining flex. Yeah, so go down to 5.5 here, just before the shaft's parallel to the ground. Your knee is flexed. In this picture on the left is flexed 34 degrees, which is about what you're demonstrating there. Now the way you're gonna watch this is all the way down to the ball, keep flexing your knee, just slowly, and then as you keep going, flex your knee some more. That's the pattern that you'll see here. So you move from 34 at this point in time, you get to 40 at impact. Let me show you that one. Or 39 maybe is where I've got stopped. There's 40. And then 41, 42, 42, 43, 44, 44. And part of what that makes it more complicated to do, and you notice that here with your hip turn being 24 degrees, that's when you see a blue number, that's less open than tour players. As you're trying to hit and raise yourself up, straightening your legs makes it easier to turn your pelvis. The hardest way to do it would be to keep flexing your trail knee, and the range of motion that you have to keep bending yourself backward and turning is really limited. So that's where Rory McIlroy comes to mind as someone who's almost has his right leg straight when he hits the ball. His hips are also very open when he hits the shot as well. When you keep flexing your trail knee, it's slowing down the rate that you can turn, which is slowing down the rate that you can pull the shaft forward towards the target, like the longitudinal acceleration doesn't get fast enough. And suddenly the speeding club head is going too fast for your hands, and the club's turning in your hands too fast relative to the angle you're trying to swing on. So balls that start too straight probably are the biggest offender of that kind of part. And the twisting of the shaft that you're going to do here from 7 to 8, it's not like that is it's not the worst I've ever seen. You did mention how sometimes your right hand flies off the club.
I've always seen that in videos. Like, God,
right?
that is so weird. How there's something with my hand, how it gets like off or something.
There are other golfers. This is where I want to be super careful to say this. There are other golfers that have won millions and millions of dollars doing the same thing. Yeah. But what they also had was the skill of when they hit the ball, they didn't have the face too close to the target. Mm-hmm. So while they did have a lot of the axial rotation and twisting of the shaft through the shot and their hand comes off the club, they didn't have the face too closed. Sometimes you have the face too closed. So one thing you could do is learn how to move the shaft forward faster so that if the face isn't closing as fast. That makes sense?
It does.
So inherently the problem isn't wrong. It's that the ball is screaming at you. Sometimes I hit too many pull draws. Here's a way that we can practice. So I want to practice that one with you. That'll be a fun one. So you hit these shots and your knees are bent longer than tour players, and that's kind of what you're describing as the reverse C. The C part I think comes from the thoracic extension. Yeah. But from the front view, you've got the knee sway moving towards the target for too long. Your knees are too bent. The axial rotation is pretty high. Yep. So let's practice how not to do that. You ready?
Sure.
All right, so we'll film the swing.
Before you say it, I get why though, is because I get the left shots because I'm trying to like flip it, right?
Well, I don't think you're trying to. It's that you're not moving the grip end of the club towards the target fast enough, long enough, where the club head, which is going much faster than the grip end, is now going so fast you can barely hang on to the club. So if you wanted to avoid that closing of just a few degrees too many right down here in the bottom, you'd continue to do the acceleration of the grip end of the club towards the target longer to keep the face more open.
See that? It all comes together.
It all comes together.
Gosh.
Well, we'll see how easy it is.
Wait, we haven't done it yet?
Easy. I've done this a few thousand times, but so here's what we'll do. Let's do we'll do a couple practice swings and then we'll compare those on OptiMotion to this one real quick. But make a swing where your lead arm doesn't even quite get to parallel to the ground. That in itself is a skill that we'll test Cordy on. That'll be fun. Can you do that instead of stopping up here?
All right.
And then you're going to hit this ball with both of your arms straight and the shaft and your lead arm just in a straight line on this side. And try to do this where you have both of your legs as straight as you can get it. Yep, you can do more. Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, I know, right? Well, if I had my knees bent 50 degrees at impact on every swing, it would feel strange to not do that.
Okay. So we're going to go back and then... Oh gosh.
And you're going to punch the ground. And to you notice how your trail foot in the picture on the left, it's up off the ground. You can see some of the bottom of your shoe. You got to keep pivoting your ankle a little bit to
get more
enough mobility.
Got it.
Not much. It's just a little.
Well, that's a good feel.
Both legs straight, punch the ground, arms straight. Good. Got it. Okay.
I don't know if I have the core strength for this, Nick. Working out over here.
That's right. This would be easy. Okay, so let's do one just as an example.
Yeah, let's see the data.
So let's just do one compare. So this is impact, or when you would have hit the ground.
Okay.
Now visually, you can see a difference in the knee flex.
Yep.
Okay, so you've got a 15-degree trail knee flex versus the 40. Yep. That's why it needs to feel like your legs are really straight. You're still straightening. And then while it's a tiny swing, you have less twisting on the shaft, mainly because you're not going as fast. 10 degrees. And that, I think, is the follow-through face angle, your arms, the knee flex that you're probably trying to visualize that you do.
Yep.
So the picture on the right, I think, is while you're not even hitting a ball, you're barely applying much force to the club. You're not going very fast. That's at least teaching you how that should feel. A much straighter trail leg, not 47. The shaft is coming out lower with the face less twisted. So I mean, that's the right idea if that's the problem you have, which for you it kind of is.
Yeah.
So let's hit one.
Oh boy.
Do this, go a little faster, but same kind of idea where follow through, both arms straight, both legs super straight. Like no flex in your trail knee. What a test. Good.
That was weird.
Now, I don't have the launch monitor going in the background, but I bet that ball pushed and cut, if anything, which is the opposite of the pull draw that you're trying to adjust for anyway.
Yep.
So there's 40 degrees of trail knee flex on your first swing ever. Or not your first swing ever, that was the hair swing. This one, 29. We'll keep going.
All right.
Don't know how clear this will look. Still twisting the shaft, but less.
Yeah.
I think that'll come across fine when you're full screen on this video. 42, 43.
Wow.
45, 46. The shaft's already past where it was.
Fixed a lot.
Yeah, your hip turn is more open on the picture on the right, even though the club hasn't traveled as far by a couple degrees, and your shoulders are turned more. So it's just helping you move yourself a little quicker, keeping the face open a little bit longer, more degrees a little bit longer, and giving you a tendency to push. Now, as a student, I'd tell you, expect to push and cut while you practice this. That's fine. The minute you know the pictures line up to what you're trying to do, which 30-ish in here is a pretty good number to be striving for anyway, as far as tour averages. Then we'll worry about how do we get the ball to curve back the way that you're accustomed to. But that would be a simple way to practice changing your form. Your swing's really good. It's just those a few pull draws around that maybe you could avoid by just some dedicated practice to a little faster with the handle from impact, at least a little bit longer in your follow through.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for walking me through it.
No
Golftec
problem.
lessons are super interesting always. You guys have the coolest tech and are always kind of like pushing the envelope.
We're trying. We've got some cool stuff coming too on top of this. It's not just ending with the kinematics here and just these numbers. There's a whole lot more to go.
Yeah.
This was just a nice foray that got us into just a cool place where we could show all this data, every swing reliably and repeatably.
Well, people, like I always say, Golftec, like you guys have the most data, it feels like, of anyone out there. So I love talking to you because it's like, what are you learning? Because you have the most kind of data, like nobody else has. Would you say 7 million swings?
Yeah, so we teach about 1.7 million lessons a year. So all that data, we save it all. So it's all scalable, it's sortable, we can do things with it, there's patterns in there. Now we own SkyTrack as well, so we have all the shot data for people too. We're starting to build a database of, if you'd like to know an answer to a question, we might have it.
That's awesome. Nick, thanks for hanging out with me.
Best friends.
Thanks for the lesson. Yes, best friends.